Hello users, and welcome back to another episode of Above It All. And it looks like there's a little trouble in paradise. Now, I do not know any other context for this other than this thread. This thread was linked to me, and I was requested to comment on it, so here we are. Apparently, according to the reports here, someone broke into a car shop and stole a bunch of shit. And this guy was live streaming from the area and recorded some videos of what was happening. Now, I haven't actually looked too in depth. I've just, scanned through like the first half of this and I was barely listening. So, I'm going to watch this, the whole thread. I'll analyze it and I'll tell you what I think. And we'll see what's actually happening here. And needless to say, not good.
I had some people on my stream that were curious. You said did you try to call the police or the fire department and they wouldn't show up?
I did call them.
Really? You called them?
Yes.
And they just
multiple times.
Did they say we're not going to show up or?
Well, at first they made it sound like they were going to show up, and then by the time I probably called them the 10th or 8th time, 8th, 10th, 11th, I don't know what number it was.
Yeah.
They basically told me they weren't going to come up.
Okay. Did they say why or were?
Because of all of this.
They were like, we can't get near that area.
Because they have to preserve their own lives. They have families they need to go home to at the end of the day as well.
Yeah. So
they can't protect the people of this neighborhood without fearing for their life.
Were you guys already on the scene as security, or did you guys have to kind of rush in?
We came here from my house.
Oh, okay.
I just got home from having
dinner with
my wife.
Yeah.
Because it was our anniversary, and I got the phone call that somebody was breaking into the business.
Yeah.
So I left my house, came down here, and we caught the
guy in our business lighting it on fire, and we put the fire out ourselves. It was on fire,
and it was when I went inside through the normal gate.
Now again, it is very important. I do not know any of these people. I'm just saying this explicitly. I do not know any of these people. As far as I know, there is no context for this. And I just want to say, again, there's a lot of problems with people using protests as kind of like an excuse to go on a joyride. And that is a problem. That is a giant problem. Now, again, I don't know anything about these people. I don't know their political opinions. I don't know whether or not they're supportive of protests or against protests. I don't know any of that information. So again, I'm here as neutrally as I possibly can be. It looks like that someone was in here trying to fuck around because they saw some place with minimal security and just decided to be a jackass. That's what it seems. And it's very, very unfortunate that this occurred. And again, I don't know anything about the person who's live streaming this and documenting this. I don't know what their experience is or whatever. I don't know who they are. I don't know anything. This is just a thread given to me, no context, and I'm watching it. And I do not like what I see.
Fire on the counter. He taking a stream of Brawl.
Yeah.
Lit the
cassette players on fire.
Okay.
Started the fire, and we put it out, and then we caught him inside.
Got it.
Simple as that.
But normally,
was he acting alone? Was it just one guy who had?
Yeah,
there was one other person who was supposedly here.
Okay.
He claimed that there was some other person here, but who knows?
Yeah.
The only person we caught here was him, and we caught him lying in his story multiple times. That's all there is to it.
And you guys detained him and then handed him over, or what happened at that point?
There was no detaining or persecution of anybody. It was just we wanted our stuff back. We took what we could get from him back.
Yeah.
Before the mob of people came through our fence, and we said, "Get out of here, please."
Yeah.
That's what. And if you see the video,
and then he just left.
Calm conversations. Yep, he left.
Okay.
Okay, so again, I'm just going to go to the next tweet here. Well, I'm just going to read the text as well. I was streaming when the incident happened at CHAZ last night in Seattle. An auto shop near the zone was broken into. Car tender. Property stolen and a fire started. The owners called the police and the fire department, but they were told they would not show up. Full thread with clips. Okay. The man who broke in then returned to the scene of the crime. While I was streaming, the owners knew what he looked like because they held him briefly to question him and to recover some of their property. He was released when a group from CHAZ arrived and broke down their gate. Okay, so let's watch this.
You didn't? This is the guy that took our shit.
No, I didn't.
I'm sorry if the volume is too low. I'm trying to put some gain on here. But, like, again, I'm trying my best with the volume. If it's too low, I apologize.
You don't know.
Take that hood off.
Why?
You got long hair?
But do you have the?
He's the guy that took our shit.
Well, do you have the video? Do you have the video?
Yeah, that's him right here. Video.
So, do you have any of this stuff?
Dude,
Hey, don't touch my shit.
Yep, that's him. That's him. You're him.
Where's the video?
I'll show you. No, you don't let him. Do not let him leave.
So, how do you
Stay on him.
That's fucking him.
That's him.
Hey, stay
Give
on.
me the video you have of me with him.
One of you guys? No?
That's him.
Yeah?
That's him.
Maybe the
We don't need to start fights.
That's him.
follow him that doesn't have a gun on there.
We don't need to start
Oh,
fights.
no, I'm on.
Yeah. Where's that video at?
Cody, you got it? I do. He has our shit.
So they're trying to find this guy now.
Shoutouts to the guy
They're
streaming
gonna try
this,
to
by the
detain
way.
him or something. This is
Like,
good.
just being in a situation where there's people with guns around, like as a streamer, like it's very scary. I've been in situations like this. I just want to say shoutouts to the streamer. Good fucking shit.
Gonna be potentially risky.
Cody.
I don't know if they're gonna detain him or not. He's running again, jumping over the barricade. He's holding his hands up now. He's in the zone. I think he wanted to get back to the zone, it sounds like.
Behind.
So they caught up to him. Raz has a hand on him now, hand on his backpack. Sounds like they're gonna talk to him about what happened.
Alright. The man then fled the scene back to CHAZ, where he was held and questioned by CHAZ security along with the car shop owners. The goal was to try to search his pockets and multiple bags, since money and car keys were still unaccounted for.
Like 20 cars.
One of the guys from the car place is here now. He's got a assault rifle on him.
Burning down our businesses up there. Yeah. And he took $5 grand in cash and like 20 car keys. And then, well, yeah, no, Raz, no, it's him. Yeah, but that's the guy. And then he comes back and he's wearing the owner's jacket and he's like laughing at us. And we're like, this is the guy. He's like, he's all zipped up.
So you have the stuff?
So we're here at the
That's what we're trying to get
one of the first major incidents that's happened in the CHAZ, where this guy being accused of stealing $5,000 and 20 car keys. Watching this play out live as they try to decide how to deal with it. One of the guys from the
Alright, so the man did empty some of his pockets and bags, but not all of them. Talks proceeded mostly calmly for a long time until things got more heated as the suspect continually tried to walk away.
Bro, no, I am
So
going to be
they let him
aggressive,
search.
and I'm going to take
He's
him
got 3 bags
If you don't
on
get
him,
the fuck
right?
out of here,
He got his,
I'm going to knock you the
he had
fuck out.
his
And that's
jacket
on my
on
mom.
too, the owner's jacket.
So
Got
get
the
the fuck
jacket
out
back,
of
set
here.
2 bags on him.
Straight like that. No. Hey, listen. Ain't nobody shit in his bag. He's going to knock me out. I don't want to fight. And we've been getting this whole shit this whole time. I'm not going to stay with us. He's going to knock me out. We're not going to steal his stuff. We just want my stuff back. That bag is going to stay with us, and he's getting the fuck out of here.
So the owners are saying we want our stuff back. There's a guy who just jumped into the situation.
Did that person just punch the dude?
Owners are saying we want our stuff back. There's a guy who just jumped into the situation.
I did it. Now who got a problem? Who want to see me in the street?
So is this person here the guy that apparently stole things? Is that why they were punched in the face?
I did it. I did it. He gotta go. Get a bag back. No. Look. I don't give a. Get a bag back. Get a bag back. Good now. Now we gotta get the bag back. Get a bag back. No, fucking insulting me. I don't give a fuck. Listen, bro.
Step back if you're not part of security now!
Listen, don't rob me. I'm 19, bro. Please. Take the bag back off. You robbed us. Take the bag back. Let's sit back here. You robbed us. All right, I will. I will. He said it off. Is that the military one? Take it off.
Everyone stay calm. Stay calm. Everyone's good.
Bro, which one? Which one? Take the bags off.
All of the bags.
Okay, next clip. Things started to get out of hand as a member of CHAZ security stepped in to pull the suspect away from everyone else. The suspect then fled further into CHAZ on foot, and then shop owners didn't manage to recover any more property besides a jacket he had taken from their shop.
Bro, at the end of the day, look. Hold on. Listen, man. No, shut the fuck up. Shut up. I don't give a fuck. Listen. I'm doing that shit. It ain't you. You back up. You back up and you stay out of it. I'm doing that shit. No, get the backpack home and knock you the fuck out. I'm not on camera. I'm not no fucking rapper. I'm a hood nigga. Get the backpack home. I'm fucking hood. Let's go.
Hey, stop!
Stop! Step back if you are not part of security! Step back!
That ain't it!
Step back if you are not part of security, now! Step back!
Is he actually beating the shit out of
Step
him?
back if you are not part of security! Step back
I
if
wish
you
this like giant dumpster wasn't in the way. What is going on here?
Stop!
Step back if you are not part of security! Step back!
That ain't it!
Step back if you are not part of security, now! Step back! Step back if you are not part of security! Step back if you do not!
If you are not part of security,
All right, Gunner, no. Right here. Go. How'd that go?
Did you get what you needed?
You got it last.
No, he just ran off and nobody fucking chased after him, or did they chase after him?
a lot of us didn't want to get in it, especially if it was locked.
So there's a scuffle, and then the guy got away. I'm gonna follow the shop owners and get out of here because that was getting pretty nasty.
Again, shout out to the guy live streaming all this. Good job. Like that's the ideal thing that you want to do in these situations. Just record what happens. Brilliant stuff. Shout outs to them. I don't know what to say here. That's not good. Like this is pretty self-explanatory. Clearly there needs to be a lot better arbitration at these like little checkpoints. The idea that everyone was like in this giant huddle again without masks on, the whole COVID thing really skeeves me out. Very, very cringy. But again, if you have guns, if guns are there, why are they not, like, I'm not trying to advocate for anyone shooting anybody, but like, in this situation, you'd think if guns are involved, how could someone get away? I don't know. It's a little bizarre. I have faith in the system of governance here that this guy will probably be found, or at least some of the things will be found. Again, this is 6 hours ago-ish, probably maybe 8 to 12. I don't know exactly. But either way, terrible news. Obviously, you know, there's no police in there, so like everyone's wondering, like they're waiting. It's like this is what happens when you have no cops. Well, the thing is, this is also what happens when you do have cops. So it's like the situation both with and without cops is almost identical. The whole idea that they let them like run away in this section, I thought was a little bizarre. I thought was, you know, like you'd figure that if this guy like really did steal things, like I'm not trying to like throw shade or anything, but you would think that instead of eating a bag of chips, that you would I don't know, like you would think that something else would be occurring here. Like it's very bizarre. It's very strange. And so, you know, I'm glad that at least to my understanding, nobody is hurt, other than it looks like there was a fist fight between, I don't even know who, because again, this giant dumpster's in the way, and again, all respect to the person who's streaming this, you don't want to get too close, you know, obviously there's not much that they could do at this angle, but clearly, again, arbitration is something that's important to think about. Arbitration is, of course, required in society, and as you can see, there is arbitration occurring. It's not the same style as it would be in the United States otherwise, you know, but it's interesting at the very least to watch things like this occur and how things happen in real time. And again, I don't know what's going on here, but it seems to be quite a disaster. And yeah, that's quite a disaster. I don't know who's there. I don't know who's involved. You know, again, I don't know any of the people's faces. You know, it's hard to tell. The only way I can tell, you know, the guy is the guy with the big gun. That's all I can tell here. But you know, I think it's very unlikely that this person is going to run away scot-free, given the fact that their face is on camera in this thread here. I do think that they will be found. I'd love to see the surveillance footage, if there is any, of the shop, because that's certainly very interesting. And I think things like this are going to play out. Things like this are going to happen. And again, obviously, no one watching this needs me to say this, but don't use protests as an excuse to go on your little joyride. It's pathetic. It's cringy. It makes everything like everyone else look like shit. It makes you a jackass. And it's probably not going to work. It's just so mind-numbingly stupid. And again, it's not like CHAZ is a fucking running rampant with crime. As far as I understand, this happened outside of the border as it is. And I find that bizarre. Again, the cops weren't coming. Assuming that that car shop was indeed outside of the border, the cops should have come, and that is on them. That is on the police. Because the police claim to have jurisdiction outside of the border. They should be doing their jobs. They're still employed by the state to protect and to serve. So you'd think they would protect and serve, at least property owner, but no, that didn't happen. So of course, and again, if anyone has any updates from this, let me know immediately. I'll try to cover this tomorrow if there's an update. This kind of stuff is super interesting to watch. Obviously, it got out of hand. I don't think that there's any chance of this guy just being like disappearing into the wind, like unless they're going to flee to Canada or something. Like I don't see any of that happening. Their faces on camera. And so that kind of makes things like this a little bit difficult to get away with. So again, we'll see how this plays out. Send me any updates if you see any. And obviously, you need to have better systems of governance when it comes to arbitration. You shouldn't be allowed to be in a situation where people get out of hand and start a fist fight. That should not have happened. And I can guarantee you from the lens of someone who's done similar things to this, that this situation will be learned upon. I can guarantee that. The people that are collectivizing to make up the security, I can guarantee you that this is a major lesson to them, and that every moment since this happened, they have been both planning on trying to resolve the situation and then also figuring out ways to improve their security apparatus. I can guarantee you that that's happening just by the very nature of this kind of stuff. Like these kinds of people, and again, that's just happening. People are going to deal with it. When something like this happens, it's not like it goes unnoticed. It's not like the community that makes up the entirety of CHAZ as a whole, majority speaking, is going to be like, okay, that's cool. People are going to be trying to get this resolved. People are going to do what they can to resolve it. People are going to do what they can to strengthen the ability to arbitrate whether or not these things are happening or who's correct and all that stuff. And these things are going to be improved upon. And that's the important thing to note here. And again, don't use this shit as an excuse to go fucking on a joyride. It's pathetic. It's cringy. It accomplishes nothing. And oh boy, you almost got $5 grand. I get it. $5 grand's a lot of money. But unless you're stealing money to like help someone pay a hospital bill or something, I'm not trying to morally grandstand here. But I'm just saying there's other ways to do it, especially given the context. There's an autonomous zone going on. If you needed that money, there are other ways to accomplish that. So again, it's pathetic. And of course, this guy identified themselves as a 19-year-old. 19-year-olds do stupid shit. Like, there needs to be a system of governance to arbitrate this kind of stuff. There needs to be a way to hold people, like, while things are figured out so that they can't run away. This is something that needs to happen, and it needs to happen in a way that doesn't infringe on anybody's safety. And that is the first and foremost concern. And I hope to hell that, of course, they're working on this. I would imagine, like, I can't see a scenario where they're not working on it. Because, again, any giant situation like this to occur is a huge problem. Now, whether or not this person's a provocateur agent, like all that kind of stuff, irrelevant. Absolutely irrelevant. Okay? This needs to be handled better in the future, and this needs to be handled better retrospectively. Something like this should not have happened, and I hope that there is proper atonement for what did happen. And again, the only way to know what's going to happen is to watch it play out, because the police are not going to do anything. And of course, obviously, they should not even go anywhere inside of the zone, but they should definitely tend to places outside of the borders of this zone. That is just bizarre that they're not doing it, and I think it's just kind of laughable. And obviously, you know, I don't know what else to say here. I'm kind of repeating myself. So anyway, 20-minute video, good enough. Go watch one of these videos in the end screen. I'll see you again tomorrow. Y'all have a good one.